Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hello, hello, babies.
Welcome. All right. So right now it is about 7:04 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, right? Today's Thursday on Thursday.
We'll go with it.
I swear. It never ceases to amaze me that I never know what day it is. I'm like, Ashley, how do you even show up for work? Like, but I'm excited. So if you guys are here with us now, say hi. If you're watching the replay, just do #replay. Either way, we see your comments, but I'm super excited. So today I have my wonderful master healer, Brie, with me. A lot of you should know her. She's been live with me a few times now. And if you don't know her, then we're going to give Brie a second in just a minute and just a second to introduce herself and let us know who she is and what she's about.
Time.
Deep breath.
All right, I guess that's my turn now. It's my time.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm making sure all the comments are going. Okay, so can you see the comments?
I can't. Let me play around with comments. Let me see. Oh, I see some, but let me I can't see. I don't know. I guess I don't need to see us. I can see the comments. Hello, everybody. I don't know. My phone is kind of weird. Let me see if I can get comments. I do see that there are several. This app is weird. That's all right. Hello. So I am Brie, Lavender Moon Healing, Reiki Practitioner, Celtic Reiki Master, Medium, Intuitive. I don't know. I just have stuff. I do things. It depends on the day and what the spirits want and allow, and really what they feel like, I guess. Some days it's all and some days it's nothing, you know. We're kind of at their mercy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, so tonight
sorry, go ahead.
Tonight we're gonna shake some stuff up. We're gonna do something a little different here. We're gonna get in your feelings. We're gonna hit you home right in the heart. Well,
go get your tissues.
Maybe down in here. Yeah, get tissues. Let me see. I'm still trying to find that. I can't focus right now because I'm talking to you and I can't focus on my computer. So I'm trying to see if I can get the comments on my computer so I can see who is here. Because I know I saw some people. Saw some folk.
Yeah, I can see the comments. Let me see. So as Brie is taking a second to get things up on her computer, if you guys want to go ahead and share the video, that would be cool. We'd greatly appreciate that. And or if you also want to tag some friends that you think might be interested in hanging out with us tonight, that would also be cool.
There we go. All right. So I don't know how far back my comments or how lag they are. Oh, yeah. I see Angel, Kathy. Yeah, share away. Get all the friends here.
Yep, all the friends. Bring them all.
Get all the friends here.
I have a feeling that once we get on a roll with our conversation tonight, that there's going to be a lot of people going, I didn't know I needed to talk about this.
I have a feeling too, which is why I felt I needed to talk about it because I had a session, a Reiki session today, and I always end my sessions with the card pull, and the card for her was acknowledge your feelings or embrace your feelings. And it's one of those things where we don't, as
Mhm.
humans, and we're like, yeah, I know I'm mad, so yeah, I acknowledge and I embrace it. No, mm-mm. That's just saying it,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then you your life, like, you really have to let that emotion come to the surface. You have
Mhm.
to scream, you have to let it be,
Yep.
you got to let it go,
Mhm.
um because she's going through some things, and she's got to let it process, and I think we don't do that nearly enough. And I think we've all been a little emotional this week, and I think we've all um been a little sensitive. Who's been kind of extra sensitive
Mhm.
this week? Hey, Catherine. Hi,
Yeah.
Susan.
Yep. And it's like, and when you say sensitive, or even when we say like who's been emotional, like that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, we're sobbing. Like I haven't cried at all this week, but I've been way more emotional than what I typically am. And I'm like, what? Like this is not typically how my brain works. Like why do I feel this? Or why do I feel the need that I have to pick everything apart and everything has deeper meaning? Like things just feel different.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
It's almost like you feel a little bit deeper. Like that's normally you're a little grumpy sometimes, but now it's true anger.
Yes.
You're grumpy because you wanted to make a sandwich and the bread was moldy and it was the last two pieces, and instead of
Mhm.
just being grumpy and finding something else to eat, you are truly angered. Sorry,
Were
my
you,
phone.
that's okay.
um
Were you in my kitchen today? Because that literally happened to me this afternoon.
no, it happened to us this morning.
Okay, so who else is dealing with the moldy bread issue? I was making my son a sandwich and I pulled out the loaf of bread. I'm like, and I look at it and like I had a reaction that was so uncalled for. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I like threw it in the trash and I'm
Yeah.
and I even had a backup loaf. So there was no reason logically for me to be as angry as I was.
Yeah. It's like it just kind of it's intensified. I guess
Yeah.
that's the way to put it, is everything has just been intensified over the last 7 days.
Hmm.
um and like I was telling Ashley, you know, we all had an amazing October. you
We
know.
survived.
And that last week of October, and we all I I don't know how many of you all heard my story, but you all know that I had an amazing October. That last week was fantastic for me. Um, so it was rough, and then we kept saying November, November, it's right around the corner. We just got to make it. We just got to make it. We just got to make it. And then November hit, and here we are 2 weeks in, and we're like,
Hmm.
what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What is right now? This is
Hmm.
not what we signed up for. We were
Yeah.
we were abundance. We were
Yeah.
happiness. We were supposed to be all free and clear. We were supposed to be living our highest self. Well, where the hell is it?
Hmm. Yep.
We're crying.
Yep.
That's
And I
what
don't
we
know.
signed up for.
I don't know about you, but like when I sit with it, because I thought the same thing, right? I was like, okay, October is hard. Like October is hard, but I feel like November is going to be so much better. And November has been better. It's just been emotional. Like
Yeah.
it's really forcing you to not only be able to identify the emotions, but like if you're not sitting with them, they're continuing to resurface. Like they're just like, oh, you didn't want to pay attention to me the first time around. I'm going to show up again in a few minutes. Oh, I'm going to show up again tonight. Oh, I'm going to show up again tomorrow until
Oh
you're
yeah.
really ready to sit with it. And not only be able to say, oh, yeah, I'm mad, or oh, yeah, I'm sad. Okay, why? What triggered you? Where is this stemming from?
Yep.
Is this emotion covering up for something deeper? Like we talk a lot about how a lot of times anger is a cover up for sadness, right? So like what is underneath of that emotion?
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been intense. Yeah, Angel. If we were supposed to be grateful, and we are grateful that we made
Mm-hmm.
it for October, and
Yep.
every day we show gratitude, which is why um, we're here and things got better.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter how emotionally we feel, we always show gratitude. Gratitude is the number one emotion that we always feel. So don't ever let that go. Don't ever, no matter how you feel sad, happy, mad, angry, hungry, grumpy, whatever, you always show gratitude.
Yes.
First and foremost, like number one, you always show gratitude.
Yep.
Um, but it does get difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot what I was going to say. But you do have to, I think letting go is the biggest part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the hardest part.
Yep. Yeah. Because I mean, our emotions are really, it's some of the way that our spirit is communicating with us, right? Like the emotions are meant to bring things to your awareness, to help you better understand what you're feeling, or what is or isn't in alignment, or what needs attention. And I think that so many of us, we think it's either all or nothing, right? Like it's either I'll be happy when I blah 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 blah, or everything is horrible right now. Like there's no in between. And I think right now, with how difficult October was for just about everyone that I've talked to, and how emotional November has been for just about everyone that I've talked to, it feels to me like we're sort of in this space of spirit and universe guiding us to figure out how to create that balance where, you know, like you're saying with gratitude, like we can be angry and we can be grieving and we can feel all these things and simultaneously have that balance of
Yep.
gratitude.
Yeah. And I think it's that ultimate setup,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I think we all agree on every level of spirituality that January, there is a huge shift coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something is happening. We are building up. We are practicing. We are being set up. We are learning a lesson. Um, you know, October was a test for us. November is a test for us. I think October tested our endurance to see
Mm-hmm.
how much we could take.
Yep.
I think November is testing our devotion to
Mm-hmm.
see how spiritual we're going to be, how dedicated we are. Um, December, I don't know. What do you see for December? I see. I don't know. I do see the
So
abundance for December.
So when I've sat with December, because I've been curious, I'm like, what does the rest of this year look like? And I've seen this with myself, and I've seen this so far coming up in a lot of the readings that I've been doing, especially the psychic readings where we're talking about like what's to come. Um, there has been major shifts in January to February is really what I'm feeling.
And
And so for
I've been,
December, it really sort of feels like in December, in one way or another, we're going to be forced to figure out how to create more balance, but to slow down. Like I feel like December is going to be forcing us to, okay, pick and choose what you're going to give your time and attention to here, because everything that you're trying to juggle right now, this isn't going to work moving into whatever this next chapter is for you next year. So it almost to me feels like December is really going to be like, I don't want to say the final stage of forcing us to shed what isn't serving us, but in a sense, forcing us to reflect and acknowledge it at the very least and sort of reprioritize things.
yeah, because I've been told, like, I know January, something is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Earth as well. Like there is something energetically happening to the Earth in January, February,
Yeah.
um, which is going to reflect in the humans, um, and in the universe. Well, something universal is happening,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't, and I like when this happens. So like, every few months or so there's a collective shift in the universe. And we see that as a collective, right? Like we see that in our country or in our world or whatever. But then that, like you said, like it trickles down into us as individuals. And because we all have our own individual journeys, our journeys are different, but the emotions and the feelings around it for so many of us are the same. And I'm like, it's a ripple effect. Like, yeah, we're being impacted slightly differently, but that's only because we all have our own journeys. Like we're all going through the same thing at the same time, one way or another.
We can all relate. We're all sitting here in a circle, in this virtual room, and we're all literally going through the same thing.
Yep. So many of us are standing around scratching our head going, what the hell? Like, what is life right now?
I know. I did a reading with one of the master healers the other day. And because I told her, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because she told me exactly what I knew. I didn't answer. I was hoping she was going to tell me. I told her, I said, I came to you to validate the answers I already knew. I was just hoping you would tell me to stand on my head and twirl around 3 times. But I'll go away knowing, like it's that if we expect somebody to tell us, but we're all in the same boat and we're all kind of experiencing the same thing. And I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. That's okay, because my brain stopped working.
Yeah. But no, I mean, right. Like Sherry, she said, letting go of all the junk. Yeah. Yeah. Big thing. And Angel said, and relationships. And a lot of people are seeing like repetitive numbers.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those things.
Lisa, I think December is going to be better, but a different kind of better. I think it's going to be, I think December is going to come down to the decisions you have to make, which is going to, I think it depends on how you set yourself up and how well you listen to your guides through November. If you're putting in the work through November, December should be easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Follow your guides, follow your intuition, do the work that they're telling you to do. And December will work out just fine. Mm-hmm. Is that your phone or mine?
Might be I don't hear a phone. I hear my kitten in the background.
Hear the voices?
No, I don't hear any voices. Do you hear voices?
I do. My house has been off the chains today.
Yeah.
I was on TikTok yesterday and my Spotify turned on to the Tibetan singing bowls.
Yeah. Yeah. I was standing in my bathroom. I don't remember if it was yesterday morning or the morning before, but I was standing in my bathroom and I'm like brushing my teeth, getting ready, looking like a real princess first thing in the morning. And so I'm like brushing my teeth and everything. And I'm looking down the sink. And when I look up, there's a man standing behind me. And I like nearly jumped out of my skin. And I turn around and of course, like nobody was there. And I'm like, I don't have any readings today. I don't this can't belong to a client. And it was just like, as I went throughout my day and even today, like periodically, he's just like, what's up? And I'm like, can I help you?
What was the other night that you went live and Awaken with Ashley? Was that Tuesday?
I think Monday. I think it was Monday.
Did you see the orb?
No. Was there an orb?
There was an orb.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like
shadows the rest of the video.
Really? I'll have to go back and watch it.
I meant to message you, but I was like, I wonder if nobody else caught that.
Nobody else caught all the spirit walking around behind me. Yeah. And it's interesting because like where we live, there's a ton of history, like we live right outside of Gettysburg, right? So like there's so much history in this area. So like paranormal activity is not like a crazy thing, but generally like my house is very quiet. It doesn't really have a lot of activity. I have some pretty clear boundaries. I cleanse a lot. Like I do all the things. And yet this week my emotions are high and spirit is making themselves known. And I'm like, can I help you? What are you doing here? So I definitely think there is something collective.
Yeah, they're oh, Angel said Angel sees everything.
Oh, what, in the
Yeah.
Awaken with Ashley live?
Angel sees all the spirits. If you ever need to check and get a photo checked for spirits, Angel sees all the spirits. Just so everybody knows.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's get back to the emotions. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been yeah, so the something drew me this week to do inner child healing. And
Mhm.
that was new to me.
Yeah.
So that was part of my emotional healing. Um and it was something I never expected to surface,
Mhm.
even though it was a huge trauma in my life.
Yeah.
Never expected it to surface because it was something that um was so openly, it was something that openly happened. And it was, I was bit by a dog when I was 6.5. And it was an open thing. It was just something that we did, it was a family thing. um I would have never expected that that would be something that surfaced
Mhm.
the childhood trauma, because I acknowledged it, I talked about it. It was something that we as a family talked about.
Yep.
It was insane.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of times with inner child healing or shadow work or, anything like that, anytime you're sort of going inward, I think whatever it is that you think is going to surface, you should probably just put that expectation like right out the window, because it doesn't always work that way. Most of the
Yeah.
time, like spirit is like, oh yeah, you thought this is what we were going to talk about. No, 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 no. This is what we need to talk about. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, and spirit literally doing that. I told you so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And so like my takeaway from that for you guys would be, pay attention to your thoughts. I know I talk a lot, Brie. I don't know about you, but I talk a lot about like self-awareness and the importance of being aware of your thoughts and your emotions, your behaviors. Like that self-awareness is so important because it helps you better understand yourself. And so if you are feeling triggered by a lot, or if you're just feeling like everything feels heavy right now, pay attention to where your thoughts go throughout the day. Because I can tell you, there's been something coming up with like external family for me, and I haven't been able to quite put my finger on it, but my brain throughout the day keeps thinking about family members that I'm no contact with and haven't been for years. And I'm like, weird, like nothing's happened that would trigger that. But so you sit with it, and you sit with it and you acknowledge it. And even if in the moment you don't understand why those thoughts are there, still sit with them, still acknowledge them, because there will come a point where all
Mhm.
of a sudden you'll go, oh, I get it now. I get
Mhm.
why I had to sit with that. I get why I had to feel through that. I get why I had to remind myself of that. Everything is connected. So if your thoughts keep going to something specific, even if you guys aren't understanding why, take some time to really just sit and acknowledge it. And don't just go, oh, yeah, okay, that's weird. Like, no, sit with it. Feel, like Brie said earlier, like feel through those feelings, even if they're uncomfortable. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, never what you expect, always what you need. Exactly. Yep. Let's see.
Hold
Oh,
on.
wait. Oh, no, I lost Brie. I lost her. All right. Can you guys still see me? Like, drop an emoji or something in the comments. Make sure that you guys can still see me. And
There. Sorry.
okay. I was like, man, she's sitting so quietly. And then I realized,
What the hell just happened?
spirit.
Yeah. Story of my life.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what you just said, but just so you know.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just telling everyone like the importance of, feeling through the emotions and being aware of like where your thoughts are going throughout the day and how that's all connected.
Yeah.
It's not random.
No, it definitely, there's a point to it. It's just, it comes when you're ready.
Hmm.
Like everything else in the spiritual world, they prepare you and they're like, yeah, here's a little appetizer, here's a little taste of what's coming, just so you know. And then bam, when you
Yep.
least expect it, that's when it's coming.
Yep. So I would love, I mean, if you guys are comfortable with it, of course, you don't have to. But if you're comfortable with it, in the comments, let us know. Have emotions been high for you? Is there something in particular that has sort of surfaced for you over these past couple weeks that you're like, I would have never, never expected that to surface? I always find it so interesting when we start to pinpoint the collective shift. That is always so interesting to me because it is different for everyone, but it's the same at the same time.
Yeah, I would love to see what you guys are going through.
Oh, Marcia, I'm so sorry. She said, I've had to bury 4 family members since April, all separate incidents, and I've lost almost my entire family. It has to get better. It will.
It
It
will.
will.
Oh,
That's rough.
love energy. I'm so sorry.
That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a I can't imagine that feeling, losing that many people in such a short span of time. And I mean this with all the love in the world. This is the perfect time to try to prioritize gratitude. As dark and as heavy as things feel right now, this is a perfect opportunity to sort of start really training your mind to try to find even just the smallest grain of gratitude in that darkness.
Yeah, I feel like I had the same thought. Like it's lacking.
Mm-hmm. Understandably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny said, in the last week, I lost my grandma to cancer and was told I was being laid off from my job. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
This is definitely heavy.
Yeah.
Jenny, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Andy said, I've been super quick to anger lately. Yes. I was like that yesterday. And I'm not an angry person, but yesterday, like people couldn't even breathe right without getting on my nerves. I was very angry yesterday.
And then she took it out of moldy bread today.
I did. I slammed that bread right in the trash. Yeah. Melody, thinking a lot about old relationships and people who have crossed my path. Now, that is something I'd like to touch base on because that's been happening with me as well. And I think to some level, of course, it's different for each person, but I think at some level when that happens, it's an opportunity for you to reflect on your growth, for you to reflect on what you've learned along the way, to find gratitude in the relationships that have fizzled out, even if it was in a very toxic way. It's kind of like an acknowledgement. Acknowledge how far you've come, what you've gone through, and where you are.
Yeah, it really gives you a chance to look at those lessons, and I love those.
Yeah, because I think so often we get in this mindset of what comes next. What do I need to do next? And we're always looking at what else we need to do. How can we better ourselves? What are the next steps for XYZ? What else can I achieve? But so often we forget to reflect on those little wins and some of the big wins too. We forget to celebrate those. Like we need to celebrate those wins no matter how big or how small, because that's what gives us that boost of energy to keep going.
Yeah.
Like if you're not celebrating those wins, if you're not acknowledging that growth, that's when you see everyone getting burnt out because it's always what comes next, what comes next, what comes next.
Yeah. Laura said I felt like I was literally beside myself. Yeah, I mean, it's the uncontrollable emotions and you have no idea where they've just come from. And it's almost like you feel like you're going crazy. Like, why do I feel this way? And I think where we're caught right now is because we can't identify where they're coming from. We're acknowledging the emotion and we're acknowledging the, how we're feeling. But then it's like, when we say why, well, I'm not really mad what the bread is moldy.
Right.
What is the real reason? And then you can't understand why your entire day is ruined because the moldy bread.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get upset and beside yourself because you can't figure out why you're upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to look inward and you're like, well, I don't know what to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start this other spiral because then it's this whole other problem. And then you go down this rabbit hole of what to heal and where to start.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I think it's important to remember too that emotions don't always make sense. A lot of times there's no rhyme or reason to them. So, you could, like how I was super angry over the moldy bread, like, not to give like a bunch of details about what was kind of going on beneath the surface. It's a little personal, but when I got to kind of what was beneath the surface, it had absolutely nothing to do with my kitchen, with bread, with meals. Like, it was nothing
Well,
related.
it never does, but
Yeah.
that's the surface. It's easier to be mad at the moldy bread
Yes.
than the issue at hand.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And it's just,
Yeah.
she said more, Sherry said more self-doubt.
Yeah.
Self-doubt. That seems to be
Mm-hmm.
that solar plexus is coming up.
Yep. That is, every time I get any Reiki sessions done or anything, they're always like, "Oh, everything looks great." And then they get to the solar plexus and they're like, "Ah," and I'm like, "I know."
Yeah. I find that in every single woman I treat, the solar plexus is always the problem.
Really?
There's something about us women that we don't think enough of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That we, for some reason, doubt everything that we do and think it's not enough. And it's because no matter how hard we try, somebody is telling us it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have weeks like this week where you're already emotional and you're already doubting yourself, when you're trying to develop yourself spiritually and you have to work on your solar plexus and you have to increase your self-doubt and you're telling yourself every morning in the mirror, I'm surrounded by love, because that's what I do. And then you have weeks like this week and then you feel like crap and you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're double doubting. And then you're like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
now I want to cry.
Yep. And then to add on to that, a lot of not just women, but especially women, but people in general, I think we struggle to ask for help, and we struggle to communicate how other people, like, what we need from other people in that moment. And so then there's the disappointment of, well, I don't feel supported. Well, we haven't really communicated exactly what we need to feel supported at this moment in time. And so I think it really just kind of spirals, and it leaves us feeling very alone, very much of, I've failed, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough. And it's like, all we got to do in that moment is take that step back and, like, again, look at how far we've come. Look at our wins. This is, whatever this feeling is, it is temporary. It feels permanent, but it is not.
Yep. And who said that? Angel said we were taught to be so strong and those feelings go straight to our gut. I mean, literally, it's a solar plexus. They go straight to our gut. And it's, the saying goes, like, when somebody insults you or hurts your feelings, it's like you get punched in the gut, and that's what it is.
Yep.
It's tough. And, I do readings, and the number one thing that I see is these people, whether it's more prominent in women, but it's in men too, where there's just no self-confidence, there's no self-love, there's no self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this idea that they're allow themselves to be disrespected, or they allow themselves to be taken advantage of, or they allow themselves to not be taken care of in a certain way. or they allow themselves to live in situations that nobody should have to live in because they don't think that they're better than that, or they don't think they're good enough. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, you know, you add on the fact that a lot of that is generational.
Yeah.
It's passed down, you know, where generations before us, you know, self-love wasn't a thing. It was, you know, cater to your family, put yourself last, like do this, do that, you know, and so we're taught like men especially like, you know, don't show emotion, you know, that's not what men do, or, you know, it's just it's been passed down. And I feel like now we're sort of at these, you know, between sort of the phase that we're in right now. I think so many people are being asked or presented with the opportunity to break those patterns. And it really sucks being the cycle breaker because you have to feel it all in order to change it for that next generation.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest struggle for our generation right now, is to break that generational curse. And it's the generational curse of the stereotypes of,
Yep.
you know, all of these things, whether it the men have to be the ones to work, or the women have to be the one to stay at home, or the childhood abuse, or you
Yep.
know, the addictions, or the whatever it is, these curses that we have to break. We're called, us all together, it's our job to
Yep.
heal and to break these curses. And that's why we're having such a hard time processing these emotions, because we're the ones called to feel these emotions.
Mhm.
Our parents didn't feel them,
Yep.
and we're feeling them so our kids don't have to.
Mhm. And
Because
that's met with a lot of resistance.
yeah,
Mhm. From ourselves and from the generations before us. Like,
yeah,
you know, they don't understand our ways. They don't understand why we do this. They don't understand boundaries. And it's like, oh.
Lord, they don't.
And you know, it's just, and then you have to really work to have that again balance of understanding their upbringing and making space, you know, knowing they're doing the best that they can with the tools that they were given, but then also staying true to yourself and what you're trying to change. And it can be a little sticky.
Yeah, yeah, definitely can be.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me see. I'm reading some of these comments here.
Hi, Kim.
I'm very exhausted mentally and don't know why. I feel like I'm down on the ground. Yeah, Marie, you're not alone. So, you know, I think what makes a difference, and let me know if you think differently or have anything to add to this. I think what makes a difference though, when we're all going through these heavy emotions, is what we do with it. Do we sit with it or do we ignore it? Do we work through it? Do we change our behaviors, or do we whine and complain and then continue the same behaviors? You
Right.
know, it's really like the universe is going to present us with opportunities to learn these lessons. But ultimately, we have free will. It's up to us. Are we going to learn the lesson, or are we just going to complain and keep doing the same old, same old?
Right. And I think those of us that learn the lesson, process the emotions, heal from them,
Mhm.
acknowledge them, release them, do the things. Those are the ones I think that are meant to.
Mhm.
Um, also a train of thought. My brain decided it didn't want to work tonight.
It's a lot of energy. Mine has done the same thing a couple times, and I'm like, rewire.
It's like a download kind of day, but they're not giving me the download. Uh, yeah, and I think that's the important thing, and that's the decision that has to be made um, at the beginning of the healing process, and it's a commitment.
Mhm.
You know, you can't heal one emotion and then not heal the rest. You either heal them all or you don't heal at all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, because there's no point in starting and then stopping,
Mhm.
because then you've just wasted everybody's time.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and we're human, right? So we're not going to get it right 100% of the time. We're just not. Like sometimes we're going to walk away from a lesson that the universe was like, oh, you could have tried to learn this, and it'll just cycle back around. It'll hit us with it again.
Back.
Mm-hmm.
If you mess it up.
Yep.
But don't quit.
Yeah. And that's why you see a lot of things from past lives carry over, because we didn't deal with it in those past lives. And so now universe is like, want to try again? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
No, I do not.
Yeah, I know those past lives.
Sorry, I'm getting eaten. She's excuse you. She's in her emotions today too.
I was gonna say she's feeling feisty.
Is she's almost up to 2 whole pounds, and I guess she figured she could take on the world now. I don't know why I'm not good enough for my family. 4 daughters, 13 grandkids, no love from them for me. That's hard. That's really hard when the family sort of distances you, but, and I mean this with all of the love in the world, because Brenda, I really feel like you have approached your family with love and you've done the best that you can, as we all do. This might be the perfect time to sit back and reflect. Try to look at things from their point of view. If that many people have sort of shut you out to a certain degree, there might be something that you're not seeing. And so even coming to them, if they're open to it, even coming to them and being honestly meaning, hey, can you guys sit down? Can we have a discussion? Can you try to explain to me what this is, or what I can change, or what you need from me that maybe I'm lacking, and try to have that open, honest communication, if they're willing to do so, could be beneficial. Because I think sometimes, how we kind of view ourselves one way, but then other people view us completely different than the way that we see ourselves. I feel like this is sort of a situation like that, where you look at you're raising your family, you look at yourself, you look at your actions and your decisions in one perspective, and they might see it from a different. And so there might just be a lack of communication there. And the great thing about relationships is they can always be mended if both parties are willing. So I wouldn't give up hope, but you might consider taking some time to reflect. Therapy might be a great tool as well. And then when you feel ready, reaching out to a family member or a few of them that you think may be receptive to a conversation with you might be a good next step. That's really difficult. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I definitely think a perception communication issue in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there needs to be a clear line of communication going on from both parties.
Mm-hmm. And that's easier said than done, right? But it is possible.
Yeah. And both parties have to listen. And
Mm-hmm.
like, you can't just listen. You have to hear what the other one's saying.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it too.
Yep. Yeah. So conversations like that are hard. Like I've had conversations like that with many people in my lifetime before. And it's hard because you have to sort of get yourself in this mindset. And sometimes it takes time for you to be willing to get your feelings hurt. Like you're walking in there knowing this is going to hurt.
Well, that's one of the books that I'm reading for school. There's a portion of it. Part of self-development sometimes means that you have to kind of ask somebody their opinion of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be open to hearing it. There was also a sermon that I listened to one day a while back, and the pastor was talking, and he said something like he went up to one of his employees and said, "What is it like to work for me?" And you have to think about what that person says, because are you really prepared to hear what they say? But you have to be open to it.
Yep.
And then when you hear what they say, you have to be willing to change and adapt your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to hear what they say, you have to be you have to want to change because you're listening. Like that's the reason you're asking, is because you know that there needs to be room for change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a level of self-responsibility as well. And
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's definitely, I think everybody should do it when doing self-development, and self-growth, is asking exes and family members, what's it like dealing with me?
And it's hard. It's hard, right? Because
It's
especially if there's someone who's like brutally honest and you're like, oh my gosh. I can't remember what the podcast I was listening to was called, but it was a few years ago. My daughter was still, so she's in 8th grade now. She was still in elementary school at this time. So I have no idea what that was called, but I remember I was listening to it and it said something similar. And it was like, if you want to be able to show up for your children the way that they need you to, you have to ask them how you're doing as a parent every once in a while. And I was like, that's a weird concept. Like I'd never heard of that before. It made sense immediately, but I was like, I'd never heard of that before. So now, even years later, I still do that every few months or so, or when I notice something's kind of off between us, I'll check in with her. Now, my youngest, not so much yet. He's only 3. But with my oldest, I generally, while we're in the car, because that seems to be where the best conversations happen. But I'm just like, hey, is there anything that you need from me that I'm not doing? Is there anything that I can change? Like, do you feel like all your needs are being met? Like, we just kind of do the check-in. And I will say, like, it has 1000% helped with strengthening the relationship. But sometimes, man, it hurts my feelings. I'm like, oh my God. Because it's like things that to us do not seem like a big deal, or things that to us we kind of brushed off like, it's no big deal. They might have a different perspective of that. And for them, it was a big deal, So just doing those check-ins is hurtful sometimes, but helpful.
Strengthens the bond between the two. Because at such a young age, you've already established an open line of communication, and that she can trust you, and you're receptive to her opinion.
Yeah. And I think it's important to say, I don't change everything that she says. There are some things where I look at her and I'm like, that's just the way it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but there are some things where I know if I can change it in order to better serve her, then I'm going to, or I'm at least going to try. And it does, like, it makes a world of difference. And whether your kids are 10 or whether your kids are 50, I don't think it's ever too late to start something like that.
Yeah.
Or with your friend or your spouse or whoever. I have a friend who does, her and her family, like her husband and her son, they'll all sit down together and they do like weekly report cards where they kind of grade each other and check in with each other. And it really has opened up the lines of communication. So they all better know each other's expectations and their needs, because it changes, as we grow and we change.
That's a lot, but that's all.
Yeah. So just, being willing to feel what you need to feel. I think that's the big message. Like, you got to prepare yourself. Feelings, sometimes it sucks, but if you want to get better, you got to feel it, right?
Gotta go ahead strong, man. All right. All right. Well, you guys have any questions? I see a lot of comments here. You guys, what else do you guys have to ask or say? Let me see. I've been on a major. Christine said I've been on a got smacked in the face today with some things I've done that really opened my eyes. I needed to be able to forgive myself and move on. See, Christine, that's what I like. You took it head on. You weren't prepared for it. It sucks, but that's awesome. That's exactly what healing is about.
Yes.
That's exactly how it works. But it sucks.
Yeah. Being able to acknowledge your wrongdoings or shortcomings, but also show yourself that compassion and the forgiveness to be like, I'm human.
Yeah. But the fact that you're able to acknowledge, forgive, move on, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you stop, please?
All right. What else do we have here? What else?
I'm getting attacked by my kitten over here.
Yeah, you just get smacked in the face.
Yeah, with the claws. Meanwhile, she's like climbing up my arm, and I'm like, get off of me. Look, I'm bleeding. I don't know if you can see it. She
Oh
got
my
me good. I'm bleeding. There's God. Talk about feeling what hurts.
I was gonna say, talk about smacking you right in the face.
She said, "Papa, feel this." Mm. Yep. So, I think, Brie, what do you have going on right now? I know you've got some bundles and some specials and stuff going on, and I'm asking because you do readings, you do Reiki, and these big. I'm sorry, I am bleeding. These big emotions and stuff that everyone's feeling, these things that we're sort of being faced with. I think those readings, the Reiki sessions, like all of those it's all intertwined.
Yes. So right now, I have my Reiki sessions going. I'm offering bundles through the end of the year. So the more you buy, the more you save, and we can do a payment plan on those. And we can kind of create whatever you need, nothing specific. And then you can kind of intertwine if you want to do reading and create that as well. I'm just kind of catering it to what everybody needs. Seems to be working.
Yeah.
I've just started. I just got certified like 2 weeks ago as a Celtic Reiki master, which I'm super excited about.
I'm excited about that too. I'm booking a session, just so you know.
Celtic Reiki, please do. Celtic Reiki is probably the newest form of Reiki. It's in its own class. It's not part of the Usui Reiki. It was formed in 1989 by a gentleman in Scotland, and he was on a walk and he saw a tree that had been hit by lightning and it spread into, and he felt this massive energy. And then while he was walking, he was touching trees and got all this massive energy from all the trees and created this Reiki. And so you actually use the energy from the trees and the shrubs to heal the body. And it is insane. And I am so excited. So I am now booking those sessions. I do have a wait list going, but I'm booking those sessions now. And
I'm really excited.
I have my little orums, my little pieces of wood that I ordered from Scotland have finally come in, and I'm so excited. So all authentic pieces of wood from each of the authentic trees, and they all have their little symbols carved on them. I'm so excited. Now my crown chakra is going like crazy.
And I'm so excited about that. So I have a ton of Scottish lineage, and I've always been really drawn to like everything Celtic. Like I've got the Celtic knot tattooed on my body. Like it's always been like right up my alley. And so as soon as I saw you post that you were certified in that, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I need to learn about it.
And it's just all trees and nature. And when I was doing the certification and I did my attunement, as soon as I was done the attunement, it literally felt like there was a circle of trees around me. Like, we got you, girl. Like, we're your squad now. And it was insane. And I love it. So now I have the trees everywhere I go. I mean, I always have, but now I feel even more. So I'm super excited about that. And then I have my manifestation readings on sale for $33 with my Moonology. And Ashley's got the same deck because it's the best.
And I have been using it nonstop.
It's
like
the best.
It's just the messages are good, the pictures are good. I'm like, I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the best deck in the world. And I think that was it.
So I have, your website, or Brie's website is running down here in the banner, but it's also, I've been putting it periodically in the comments, like I'll do it again. And then it is in the description of the video. So if you're watching on Facebook, it's going to be up there. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be down there.
Yeah, so you can definitely message me on my Linktree, or you can go to my Facebook page and just send me a message. But message me directly to schedule.
Yep.
And I'm super excited. I think that's it. I can't remember what else I had, but I think that's
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm telling you, there's something in the air. Like my brain has been doing the same thing. It's like I'm talking and then I'm off somewhere else. And I'm like,
it's like, I think for the intuitives, like the
mhm,
gifteds, us, it's
mhm.
the downloads. Like there's like this steady like flow of downloads coming,
Constant. Yeah.
constant, and it's occupying the left half. And I don't
Mhm,
know if I read, or like if I'm doing a mediumship reading, or even like just a basic tarot reading, my brain, like my right half doesn't work. Like I forget words, basic words,
mhm. Yeah.
like whole sentences. I'll forget like
Yeah.
statements.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a very weird state to be in because you're kind of in between, right? So
yeah.
like I do the same thing. I'm connecting and like the word pie. I'm like, what is it? It's not a cake. It's not like I'm going all
It's
around
like
and they're like,
a circle thing.
yeah, they're like
You
pie.
make it.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Like, how do you forget that word? But it's just because you're like off in this other connection and you're trying to simultaneously be here. And it's sometimes it gets real weird. And spirit communicates differently with all of us, right? But I think to some degree it's the same in the sense of it's a puzzle. They give you a little bit here and a little bit there, and like you kind of got to put it together while you're engaging with whoever you're talking to. And sometimes it's like, my brain is just not capable of this
Yeah.
right now.
Mine forms at all times, like
Yeah.
pictures, and sometimes it
Mhm.
just my mouth.
Yep.
I don't know. It just happens.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. Look, everyone's feeling the same way. They're like, yes, definitely so true. Yep. Oh, Christine, that's awesome. She's taking Reiki 1 and 2 on Sunday. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Celtic is amazing. I would definitely get your 1 and 2 under your belt, do your 90 days, um, and then try the Celtic. But it's just made me want, like, now that I've done my Celtic and I have, my Usui, I want to do all the Reikis.
Yeah.
So I have a couple more classes lined up. So I'm going to sneak those in quietly and then come out with a couple more types of Reiki for you guys.
I love that. So I have a question because I don't I get Reiki done, but I myself do not do Reiki. So when you're doing Reiki sessions, if you're trained in these two different types of Reikis, like if you're doing a session, can they sort of like intertwine? Yeah.
It's all energy.
Yeah. I
You just,
figured they could, but I'm like, I don't know for sure.
Mhm.
That's neat. That's
Yeah, I've
neat.
got stuff up my sleeve. I do. There's so much I've got working behind the scenes right now. I
Yep.
can't wait.
Yep. And that kind of brings me back to like what we were talking about with everyone feeling like there's a big shift coming January, February. I keep telling everyone, and this is like a metaphor that spirit keeps giving to me. Well, I don't know if metaphor is the right word, but after the new year, everyone's like, new year, new me. And then by February, they're burnt out. So the thing that spirit keeps showing me is like, use these 3 months, October, November, December, to do all the work. That way, when November rolls around and you're really ready to or January rolls around and you're really ready to like implement these goals or these things that you want, you've already done the back end of the work. So you're more likely to have the space in your energy field to stick with these changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're eating the same
October,
pattern.
yeah. October, November, December as preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Then January is like the announcement, and then February you just got to kind of like coast in.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it. And who knows what it's going to hold because it's going to look so different for all of us. But I'm like, yes, I'm so ready.
I know. I can't wait.
Yep. Yeah. So hopefully this has been helpful. And if anything, just to kind of show you guys that you're not alone in whatever it is that you're going through or you're feeling. Like, yes, your journey is individual to you, but you are not alone.
Yeah, you guys are definitely not alone, and you know that we're always here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys always know, but I'm always here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you guys are not a part of our Master Healer Facebook group yet, you should go join. If you click the link in my bio, you'll see a tab for it, or you can just like go to Facebook and type in Ashley Smarowsky and her Master Healers. But it is a great place, and you know all of the Master Healers. I don't post in there a whole lot. I am there, but the Master Healers, like you guys are doing your thing in there, and so if you guys are not there yet, you should, because I think there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of good connections that you guys can make, you know, to help you feel supported. Yeah. Can my past make a difference for my future? Oh, 1,000%. Yep. You know, again, go
But
ahead.
I think, Brenda, you determine the difference that it makes. So
Yes.
you can determine whether it makes a positive difference or a negative difference.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Great
Yeah.
minds think alike.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let it take you. Don't let it take you down. Because you feel like if you've had a troubled past, and a lot of us have,
Mhm.
don't let that make you think that you have to have a troubled future.
Mhm.
Use that as motivation to have a better future.
Yep. It's all about what we do with the tools we've been given. And sometimes those tools are mistakes or, you know, hardships. It's everything is connected and there's no such thing as coincidence. Get off of my foot. So sorry. It is like living with a tiny alligator or something. My gosh, get off of me.
Thought you were gonna sneeze.
No, I'm sitting here. I'm not wearing shoes and all of a sudden there were like 10 tiny little claws just like digging into my toes. Gosh.
Stop tapping your toes. You're teasing her.
I love her so much, but 6-week-old kittens, get off.
Hmm.
Oh, so sorry. Hold on. Nova. All right, I have to pull my legs up on my chair because this is she's she's so tiny I can't even like grab her. Sherry said, I'm new to this, learning so much. I love that. So yeah, join the Master Healer group. There's, you know, there's a lot to learn. And you guys are always posting stuff in there. You're doing giveaways, you're doing posts, you're posting, you know, collective reading videos and all kinds of stuff. All right. Perfect. So Brie, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or share or anything before we kind of call it a night?
Just a positive word. Just acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge your feelings. Um, they're real sometimes. I feel like um, I feel like we don't want to admit that there are feelings any time of the year. And part of this growth pattern, part of this growth journey that we're on, the hardest thing to do is just admit that we have them.
Mhm.
And if you don't know how to process your emotions, if you've never done it before, we're here to help, um, because you can't grow if you don't learn how to pass them on, if you don't know how to express them, if you don't know how to heal them, let them go, move them on, get them out of your life. Um, the number one thing is to heal, and we're here to help. So if you don't know what you're doing, just let us know. We're
Mhm.
here for it. I think that's
Absolutely.
the thing.
Yep.
Don't
Yep. Yeah. I think when I started off on this healing journey of mine, like I didn't have anyone. I didn't, social media wasn't like it is today. So like there wasn't like groups like this or anything. And so I was really on my own. And so why not? Right. Like if you guys have access to those of us who we're in the healing industry, we know a little bit about what we're doing. If you need help, if you need guidance, use the resources available to you for sure. It'll make it just that much easier.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, this has been, I don't want to say fun. This has been good though. I don't want to say fun because we're talking about heavy, deep emotion, but it has been good. I think this is a good conversation. And you were right that it was one that needed to be had.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to talk about our
Mhm.
emotions.
Yep. Yep. So, all right. Well, very good. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you don't follow Brie yet, definitely go follow her on Lavender Moon Healing. And again, all of her information is in the description of the video. And then I also have been putting her links here in the comment section too. So I love you all so much. Brie, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. You'll be joining me again next month, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. And also, it sounds like you are very active on TikTok. So if you guys have TikTok, click the link that I've put in here for Brie and go follow her over there too.
Absolutely. I do free readings on TikTok almost every morning.
That's awesome. I'm going to start tuning in. I don't know that I'm ever awake early enough. I am not a morning person, but I'm going to try.
9-10 o'clock. It's the best time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's about the time that I'm finally like getting myself moving. All right. Well, I love you and I love you all. And we will see you next time. So you guys have a great night.
Bye.